This lesson is for dividing rational expressions. So with dividing, it's important to remember that dividing rational expressions is just like dividing with fractions. And if you remember, for fractions, when you divide, it's the same as multiplying by the reciprocal. So make sure right away that you flip your second fraction and change it to multiplication. So for example, 5/8 divided by 10/24, this is actually the same as 5/8 times 24/10. And you could multiply it out, so 5 times 24 and then 8 times 10, so multiplying across. Or you could simplify with factors. There's a 5 in the 10, so we're left with a 2 in our denominator. And there's an 8 in 24. We've got a 3 in our numerator. This would simplify to 3/2. The other option, if you multiply horizontally, so 5 times 24, you end up with 120. 8 times 10, you end up with 80. And then it still simplifies to 3/2. So dividing rational expressions is actually done the exact same way. When you have your two fractions, you want to rewrite it to multiplying by the reciprocal. So 3 over y, or 3y over 20 times 4 over 9y squared. And now since we're multiplying, we can start crossing off what's in common. So a 20 here with a 4. This 4 crosses off with a 20. You're left with the denominator of 5. 3y and a 9y squared. This 3y cancels off with this 9. There's a 3 left over, and a y with a y squared. You're left with 1y in our denominator. So everything in our numerator canceled off. 3y times 4 to get 12y. And then 5, and then a 3 and a y. We have 15. Whoops. Everything in our numerator, I missed. I got distracted by my pop-up. So the numerator all canceled off, 1, and then in our denominator we had 15y, simplified to. Combining it with rational expressions where you have to factor first. So just rewrite everything first by multiplying by the reciprocal. So 3x minus 21 over 18x minus 18 times x minus 1 over x squared minus 49. And now we can factor everything. So these two terms share a 3. If I factor out that 3, I'm left with x minus 7. That denominator, 18x minus 18, they share an 18. You're left with x minus 1 times x minus 1. And then this is difference of squares. So x minus 7, x plus 7. And now you can cross off what's in common. So x minus 1 with x minus 1. X minus 7 with x minus 7. And then this 3 with this 18, you're left with a 6. So everything in our numerator canceled out. We're left with a 1. In our denominator, we have a 6 times x plus 7. So 6 and then x plus 7 is our simplified answer. One more example. Again, rewrite it so you're multiplying by that reciprocal. So x squared plus 3x minus 54 all over 2x minus 12 times 8x minus 24 over x squared plus 18x plus 81, and now you can factor. So this trinomial factors to two binomials, x and x. Since it's a negative 54, we'd have to have, so 6 and 9 multiply to get to 54. Since this is positive, we'd have to have x plus 9, x minus 6. In our denominator, 2x minus 12, they both share a 2. So we divide out a 2 and be left with x minus 6 Over here, 8x minus 24, they both share an 8, and you're left with x minus 3 after you divide out what's in common. And this denominator, factor to two binomials. They have to equal 81 and add to equal 18. So x plus 9 and x plus 9. So now you can cross off what's in common. This x plus 9 cancels off with one of these x plus 9. This x minus 6 cancels off with this x minus 6. And this 2 cancels off with a 2 from here. You're left with a 4. Simplifying our answer, 4 times x minus 3 over x plus 9 for our answer.